I want to go to Father Robert Sirico right now, the Acton Institute. It's very good to have you, Father. You know, how are you going to handle this weekend? You've got the President of the United States saying you should reopen, and you know, you've been doing masses, and I understand that. But now that people can fill those pews, what are you going to do?
Well, Catholic priests, let's just talk about that first, are under two levels of authority. The first, and the most serious for me, at least, is my bishop. And our bishop has said we will open next week. The bishop in Minnesota, the bishops of Minnesota have defied their governor and are opening the churches, as far as I understand, this weekend. But let me say that long before the CDC recommendations came out, those are all of the things that we have been planning to do. We're increasing the number of masses. We have 2 special risk masses that will be particularly attended to. We're having people come in one way and go out another. They're signing up before they come. We have alternate pews. We're not using our hymnals. All of those kinds of things that are being recommended are already in place. I mean, it's not as though churches are not social organizations who have their own set of concerns and knowledge of what's going on. So, you know, and let me also say this. Not that I've ever been in a tattoo parlor, but I have a suspicion that what goes on in my church is a lot less intimate than a tattoo parlor.
All right, we would hope so. But let me ask you a little, Father, about how you enforce then distancing provisions, crowd control. I know you mentioned that people will go in one entrance, out another. I get all of that. But this will obviously be strictly enforced. I wonder how it's going to be enforced.
Well, we have a limit of 25% of the capacity of our church. Let's remember, at least a lot of Catholic churches are somewhat large. So in our church, we can have 150 people in that church, and very easily. And also keep in mind that people come as families. And so those families have been living together. When they're in church, they're in their own pew, they're distant from other families, will receive communion in an orderly fashion. You know, this is not the first time the church has confronted a pandemic. We have dealt with this over the ages, and I agree that it is important that we observe social distancing and all of the sanitary procedures that need to be in place. But to marginalize the church as though it's not an essential institution. Let's remember that religious organizations are the first of the first responders. When people needed food, they came to our church. We provided money for people and things like that. So the emotional support as well, the solidarity, the sense of hope. What do people need in our country and our world right now more than anything else? It's a sense of hope. We have to do it in a rational way. We have to do it in a way that respects the reality of this disease and its potential, but we have to do it.
You know, a local rabbi had emailed me after my last broadcast saying to the effect, how am I going to tell people when they reach a certain number that you cannot come in? How are you going to tell people, let's say on Sunday or Saturday, Vigil Mass, how are you going to tell them, right, we're over the 25%, you have to step outside? What do you do?
Well, what we've done is we have a sign-up genius. People are signing up. The families are signing up. We'll know how many people are coming, and we've also factored in people who will just show up at Mass. So we've done that. This is not brain surgery.
So what happens? A lot of people show up a lot of people show up late for a service, right? So for those people,
in your
that's
parish,
double jeopardy.
No, I think we just have to explain to people. They understand what's going on. It's not like they're immune to the whole thing.
All right, Father, from your mouth to, well, let's see, parishioners and their ears. Thank you very much. Best of luck this weekend, regardless.